Welcome back to another Flight Club package. We are in February where of course we love to celebrate Valentine's Day. We are sticking with the Valentine's Day theme where chocolate is ever so present as well as flowers. So you see we have flowers on the set and flower on me. So we're not going to hassle too much up front and just jump right in. So let's get into this month's package. So to kick things off this month, we are going to be traveling to the Netherlands, which is this country tucked right next to Belgium in here. And we'll be tasting Droste's dark and milk chocolate pastilles. You can see this packaging style here. It's kind of got a hexagon shape. Might be wondering what's in there, but they're actually chocolate discs layered on top of each other for snacking or just consuming. And you'll notice that they, are milk dark pastilles. However, it is a half and half split. So one side of the pastille is a dark chocolate and the other is a milk chocolate. Droste was actually founded in 1863 by Gerardus Johannes Droste in Haarlem, Netherlands. And at the time opened bakery chocolate shop where they were producing fine confections and baked goods, particularly with chocolate. This is actually an antique tin that actually was originally used when Droste was making, tins of cocoa powder. So this at one point in time was full of cocoa powder, but, happened to stumble across it at an antique shop and figured there's no, better place for this to be than here at Worldwide Chocolate. An interesting fact about Droste and just that term is the Droste effect, which you may be familiar with. Think of a painting of someone, and in the painting, it's themselves painting themselves painting. So it's kind of like an image of that image within that. That whole concept comes from this original packaging, which was done in 1904, where you have a nice woman here, and she is holding a plate of which has Droste cocoa powder on it, and if you look closely, it's actually her in the packaging, and then if you look even closer, you'll see that she in this packaging is holding another one, and so on and so on. But pretty interesting fact that the Droste effect actually comes from this chocolate company. Droste to this day is one of the largest consumer chocolates in the Netherlands and coming out of the Netherlands. And these pastilles come in a range of flavors. We also do have some great footage from Droste. It has a good representation of how their branding and style has changed over the course of time. And it also includes some actual manufacturing footage of these types of chocolates being produced at their facility in the Netherlands. So let's take a quick look. So let's move on to our next tasting, and I really gotta roll up my sleeves for this one. So we'll be going from the Netherlands to Turin, Italy, and we have quite a nice treat for you here. So we have two features from D'Amore Chocolate, which was founded in 1997 by Gianluca Franzoni. So to start from D'Amore, we have a decadent and elegant, honestly, this would be a perfect Valentine's Day gift, chocolate Neapolitan tasting selection. This is a collection of 6 single origin squares, and there are 2 of each origin, perfect for your tasting note cards. This really allows you, unlike most other chocolates, to get that broad range spectrum of how a different region and terrier can produce different flavor profiles. Plus this packaging, like, are you kidding me? It's so nice. The countries of origin included in this package are, and let's travel. Madagascar, Tanzania, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela. So you have, in even these 4 countries, despite the fact that they're bordering one another, you'll have completely different flavor profiles from chocolate to chocolate. And then next up from D'Amore, we have a mini gianduja spread. What is gianduja? Think of it as if it's like, we have covered this before, so you can watch the old videos. But it's, in essence, you're probably familiar with Nutella, which is full of random sorts of oils, like palm oils and things along those lines. This is using Piedmont hazelnuts, which are the finest in the world, Italian sugar, high quality cocoa, and that's about it. It is a spread. You could, I guess, eat it with a spoon. I wouldn't totally recommend, well, I guess I don't not recommend that because you might just enjoy it like that. But this is, going to take you to that next level of quality chocolate spreads, or should I say gianduja spreads. This has a 48% Piedmont hazelnut content, and the Piedmont hazelnuts are of the highest quality in the world. They are known as being the finest hazelnuts in the world. We also have a phenomenal clip from D'Amore. You'll get to meet Gianluca Franzoni, who is the owner and founder of D'Amore Chocolate, who speaks on, kind of their brand missions, history, as well as what it took to revitalize that Criollo crop.
D'Amore partnered 50-50 with the Francesi family and established a 450-acre plantation in Venezuela. It's set among the trees that produce mangoes, papaya, and mahogany. But the most interesting undertaking at the hacienda is the recovery of 7 different varieties of Criollo.
So happened in '94, I met for the first time the Franceschi family, that they have a very large history, back to 1830 in cacao trading. And I share with them this dream. My dream was, get people know the Criollo potential, get the Criollo flavor, and of course at that time was just a dream.
They set up an agreement with cooperatives and private growers to help preserve the biodiversity of these varieties. They make the beans available to chocolate producers throughout the world. They also use these vintage beans to make their own chocolate.
Like in every kind of ingredients, you have to start from the farm. So let's say farm and factory are really combined together to perform the best result.
Some great footage from D'Amore, and if you're interested in watching the entire clip, I have linked to that in the description below, so don't hesitate to check that out and learn a little bit more beyond what you had just seen of their process and what it takes for D'Amore to create chocolate products. Happy to say that, you can get a taste of their wide range of single origin chocolates as well as their Gianduja specialties. These little jars do come in a larger size. If of interest, they also have a white pistachio spread as well, which is out of this world. So that just about covers our Damori segment, and we'll be moving on to our next tasting. But now that we have covered Damori, we will be moving on to our next tasting, a familiar face out of Belgium. So we'll be departing Italy and not going too far, but fly over Switzerland, maybe get a good view of the Swiss Alps on your flight, go over France, and then we're at Belgium. And we have for you Dauphine 60% dark chocolate bar with pink peppercorn. Something else that's great about Valentine's Day is keeping the spice alive. So we wanted to have something that was a little spicy but not over the top, because that might not be lovely, and it's a lovely month to be here tasting chocolate. So Dauphine we have covered a handful of times in the past. They are known for the art of blending, as they have one of the widest flavor inclusion ranges of any brand we're working with. And let's jump right into this bar. Jumping into this bar, it is a 60% dark, as I had mentioned, so a bit more on the semi-sweet side, and the pink peppercorns give it quite a nice little kick. So you usually think of pepper alongside salt, pepper, salt, but pink peppercorns are actually dried berries from the pepper tree. So it does have, a nice little kick to it, and it will spice things up a little bit, especially for Valentine's Day, because, who doesn't like a little spicy Valentine's Day, right? But this flavor is, a pink peppercorn is in essence a less intense version of what you might be used to for, tableside pepper. It will have a little brighter and fruitier notes to it, but it will still have that nice little pepper kick to it. This flavor combination works exceptionally well because, the nice semi-sweet chocolate is a good baseline for that little, punchy and spicy flavor profile of the pink peppercorns. You will get subtle, a little bit of fruity notes, as it is, technically a dried berry, but again, it still has that kick of pepper. As we have covered Dauphine in the past a few times, I don't need to reiterate those notes from previous Flight Club videos, but we do have a great clip from Dauphine chocolate, which we have not yet included in our segment. In this clip, you'll get to meet Jean-Jacques de Grubel, who is the owner of Dauphine chocolate, and we'll get a hands-on look inside their headquarters as well as their manufacturing facility.
Jean-Jacques de Grubel, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Vous êtes le boss de chez Dolphin, alors une société belge wallonne. Quelle est la spécificité de la marque Dolphin?
Dolphin a pour mission de mélanger dans la masse de chocolat des ingrédients qui ont été soigneusement sélectionnés. On était en chercher certains au bout du monde. Nous, ce que nous voulons, c'est offrir à nos clients un ingrédient de très très grande valeur et dans un chocolat de très très grande qualité.
Alors vous avez un panel de parfums très très large.
Ouais.
C'est vraiment propre à votre marque?
Oui, alors on a plus de 70 ou 80 recettes, je pense.
C'est énorme.
Oui, c'est énorme. Mais tout notre outil industriel a été développé en fonction du nombre de recettes. Donc on a des systèmes qui nous permettent justement de pouvoir changer sans pour autant qu'il y ait une contamination d'un goût à l'autre. Et oui, on a des parfums très exotiques, je dirais, comme un chocolat au poivre rose qui existe déjà depuis 25 ans, un chocolat au gingembre frais. Alors, depuis une dizaine d'années maintenant, depuis que nous avons acheté cette société, on s'est attelé ainsi à avoir des parfums plus faciles aussi à découvrir.
Et quel est votre préféré?
Moi, j'aime beaucoup un chocolat noir, 70%, que nous avons, qui vient du Pérou, et dans lequel on incorpore des fèves de cacao.
Chocolat noir, ça fait pas grossir en général.
Non.
C'est ce qu'on dit,
Oui.
c'est pour ça.
Enfin, oui.
Ouais. Alors en 2018, vous débarquez dans ce nouveau bâtiment que vous avez construit. C'est dans le but de se développer, j'imagine.
Oui. Alors c'était une nécessité, l'ancien bâtiment était devenu trop petit, ne répondait plus tout à fait aux normes que l'industrie agroalimentaire nous impose. Et donc on a construit ce nouveau bâtiment avec un grand hall de production, un grand hall de stockage, ce qui est beaucoup plus agréable aussi pour tous les membres de notre personnel qui y travaillent.
Vous avez combien de personnes qui travaillent sur ce site?
Aujourd'hui, nous en avons 38, 8 qui travaillent dans les bureaux et une trentaine dans l'atelier.
So a little sweet and spicy, but you know, opposites attract, right? So maybe that's what this month is about. Opposites finding attraction to each other and meeting in harmony is, you know, exactly how I would describe this chocolate bar. Keeping the theme running exceptionally well, and let's move on to our next tasting. So next up in our tasting, we will be moving on to Germany. So we're sticking in Europe, and we'll be tasting Schleckwerder's chocolate-covered marzipan. So it's a little bit of a different sort of product, but if you are unfamiliar with marzipan, it's in essence kind of like an almond and sugar paste combined. Schleckwerder has been around for over 60 years producing fine marzipan and chocolate-covered marzipan delicacies. They do, you know, as simple as just loaves of marzipan, which are, think of like a loaf of bread, but instead of bread, it's you know, ground almond and sugar. That's kind of a singular mass. I'm not really sure how better to describe marzipan, but this is all enveloped in a semi-sweet, decadent dark chocolate. Marzipan was first thought to be created in Lübeck, Germany, about 600 to 700 years ago, and I can only imagine how far it's come. But today, the finest marzipan you'll find is still coming out of Germany, and Schleckwerder is one of the companies producing some of the finest marzipan in the world. Pair that with dark chocolate on top, German dark chocolate, pure love, and once you have a first bite, you will be impressed. This is one of the best introductory chocolate-covered marzipans that you can really have. And plus, you know, the little red twisted packaging style, keeping in the theme because we love colors and we love Valentine's Day. It's really a decadent treat. And with that being said, we've just about covered Schleckwerder, and we'll be moving on to our next tasting. For our next tasting, we will again be staying in Europe, but we will be going to France. In France, we will be tasting Michel Cluzel's 75% Mocaia single origin Mexico dark chocolate bar. The plantation Mocaia is situated in the Chiapas region, which is down in Mexico, bordering Guatemala, which is, you know, you can see Guatemala here and Mexico up here. Kind of the Chiapas would fall right about where my finger is, if you can see that, I hope. But if not, then I will do something about it. But this bar in particular is, you know, comes from the cradle of cocoa. So Plantation Mocaia is actually named after the indigenous Mocayas, which lived there, which is thought to be around 2,000 years ago. And they were known to be some of the first people on Earth to consume cocoa. But the Chiapas region is that, again, cradle of cocoa, just cradling and loving it through its environment and biodiversity to, in essence, be home to some of the best growing qualities in the world. As I've mentioned with some previous Michel Cluzel bars, they have a great tasting experience that I highly suggest you take a gander at. That will be in the description below, but we also have some great footage coming from Plantation Mocaia.
Bienvenidos a Tapachula, ustedes están en la cuna de la civilización mesoamericana. De esta región, es una región agrícola y de aquí es un sistema que se basa en dos cultivos, el maíz que necesita sol y el cacao que necesita biodiversidad y sombra. Esta herencia de nuestros pueblos, aquí el cacao era moneda, de aquí llevaban cargas de cacao como tributo a los aztecas. en este pueblo de la región mesoamericana. En esta búsqueda por mantener este sistema dinámico en estos nuevos tiempos, encontramos a la empresa Cluiciel y nosotros nos sentimos muy contentos con esta alianza porque su chocolate mantiene todos los aromas del cacao hasta el consumidor final.
La manufacture Cluisiel fabrique des chocolats d'exception à partir de fèves de cacao de caractère. C'est ainsi que nous travaillons depuis 7 ans avec la plantation Mocaya, dirigée par José, ici, au cœur du Chiapas, le berceau du cacao. J'aime la puissance aromatique de ces fèves de cacao. J'aime sa démarche éco-responsable. C'est ainsi que nous avons créé un chocolat noir bio, plantation Mocaya. L'éthique de José correspond à notre éthique. Travailler en confiance, l'excellence, dans la durée, à un prix juste et en respectant la nature.
That was some pretty great footage we were just able to take a look at, including both Mark as well as Jose working together as, Jose's plantation is his livelihood producing these fine quality cacao beans and then using them alongside chocolate makers, or rather selling to chocolate makers. But Cluisiel is not just, looking at a piece of paper and saying, I think I'll buy beans from here. They're actually going on site, meeting the farmers and owners that work on these plantations day to day, which is really what you love to see. Cultivating cacao is not just a quick and easy job, but it does require some pretty intense manual labor, as we've just seen in that footage. But it's also great to see that Mark Cluisiel is actually visiting these plantation owners on site to get a first-hand look of their production. This bar is quite exceptional, especially because of how deep its roots go. Traveling back 2,000 years, you will find the Mesoamericans and indigenous actively cultivating and consuming cacao, or rather drinking it at the time, in what they would call cacao. But it has really come a long way, and it's exceptionally interesting to see how it's progressed over such a long period of time. But that just about covers the Michel Cluisiel Mocaya Mexico bar, and we'll be moving on to our next tasting. So now that we have covered Michel Cluisiel, we will be moving on to our in-flight treats. I have a full box here, but what's been included are 2 chocolate hearts because, love, right? And we love Valentine's Day. I love chocolate. Herzls are a fine gourmet pistachio marzipan with a creamy truffle center, all enveloped in a 60% bittersweet dark chocolate. And of course, they are shaped like a heart, because what is Valentine's Day without little heart-shaped chocolates? I don't know, but because I always have them, why wouldn't I? But these are a true treat, and we've included just a couple for you to get a good taste of some additional Reaver chocolate options. But while you are tasting these chocolate Herzls, I'm going to throw another piece of trivia at you. Being Mozart, right here. What was Mozart's #1 song? Can you name it? And if you can, leave a comment, because if so, and if you get it right, I will include an additional chocolate bar mini selection in your next month's package. So just all you have to do is name the song. I would ask that you don't look it up, but if you know that, just leave a quick comment, and that earns you some free chocolate. And with that being said, that just about wraps up our month of love. Well, we still have half a month of love left, but that about wraps up our Flight Club package month of love. And I hope you have enjoyed it, whether it be the chocolates themselves or the packaging choices. I think we are in a perfect harmony of sweet, spicy, thematic, and lovely. So thank you again for staying tuned and subscribing to our Flight Club package. Until next month, eat, sleep, breathe chocolate. Cheers.